There's a guy named Danny Goler who claims that if you smoke DMT and stare into a diffracted laser, you can see the code of reality. But instead of taking his word for it, we decided to test it ourselves.
Oh man, that can't be real. That can't be real, Justin.
Hundreds, maybe even thousands of people have tried this experiment and say it's real. And just as many say it's complete bullshit. But have the detractors actually tried it? I found no evidence of someone trying this experiment and then saying it's not real. Josh has volunteered to do DMT on camera, look into the laser, and be completely honest about what he sees. Then we'll have AI recreate the experience, take you through it step by step with a scientific mindset. And we actually have Danny Goler himself guiding us through the prep and helping us make sense of it after. So strap in, because what happens next is going to blow your mind.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
If that's okay. So I guess first one, when doing, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but is the idea to just look directly at the laser where it's projected on the wall, or are you kind of actively trying to look past it? Or
Yeah, actively trying to look past it. So you're looking into the light field itself, not on the surface.
not on the surface? Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, so either you're looking from really up close or you're looking from further away. The aim is to look through. From closer, the reason that we encourage some people to do it closer in the beginning is because that forces you to look within. Look inwards. Like you can't really look at the surface because it's too close.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty close to it, so I think that'll work.
Well, for some people, it's actually harder. So that's what I'm saying, only in the beginning. So for some people, it's actually easier to see from further. And actually, it's only something that I've recently became aware of. I didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently, so turn on the laser real quick.
Oh, yeah. 1 sec. All right. You guys see that?
Yeah. If you look at it from this distance right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you move to the left and to the right with your head, is the field moving with you or against the direction you're moving?
Oh, left and right with my head?
Yeah, or not moving at all?
It's moving with me, I think.
With you, okay. Remove your glasses and do the same.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It changes?
It changes, yeah.
To move against you?
To move against me, yeah.
So you are close-sighted.
Correct, yeah.
Right. Apparently, that's how they do it. That's how they test. I didn't know this.
So, there you go.
Yeah, so basically, I was blown away by this because for me, it's always moving with me because I'm farsighted. So basically, when your focus is beyond the retina into infinity, it's moving with you just like the sun would because the sun is in an infinite plane from you. But if you're close-sighted with just like you are without your glasses, it's just like a closer object. It will kind of move in relationship to you. Right?
That makes sense. Okay.
People whose focus is perfectly at a particular distance, exactly on the retina, the speckle is not even moving with them, which I can't even imagine what that must feel like because it feels such a foreign experience to me. Here's the interesting thing we discovered. If you're close-sighted, which you are without the glasses, you should be able to find a point where if you go, you can try it right now. If you remove the glasses and you move with it, so start from a certain distance, and then, there you go, and then start moving like this, and obviously it's moving against you, right? Maybe even moving even further, like start pretty far. And then slowly move forward and keep doing this until you should find a point where it stops moving.
Okay.
Did you find that point or no?
Yeah, it's right about here.
There you go.
It's probably like about a hand length away. Maybe even
interesting.
hand length.
So I'm jealous because you get to experience both it moving against you and not moving at all. So there's a transition there. For farsighted people, so with the glasses, you can't find that point.
Okay.
Because it's in an infinite distance. So like no matter how much you're going to move. Now I asked ChatGPT, it actually said, it said that that's actually not true. You can find that point, but it won't be related to distance. It would be related to, you have to practice how to kind of move your attention like closer to you, basically.
Okay.
Why am I saying all this? First of all, because we think there's something significant there. We don't know what it is yet. But as you're doing this, because you have basically all three options, you have with glasses, 1, without glasses, 2, at the right distance without glasses, 3.
Yeah.
Right. So I want you, whatever it is that, because some people are having a hard time, some people see it right away. I don't know if it's necessarily related to the Farsighted or Nearsighted. However, I do think that maybe there's something about the kind of instructions we should give the different kinds of people with the different kinds of observations. I'm not going to bore you right now with the details, but basically, it came to us very synchronistically. The idea that there's something there that we should be paying attention to, and I don't even know what it is yet. So I guess you're part of the solving this mysterious puzzle. What I would say, because we're going to be, at least, if you feel comfortable trying it in all these ways, the first thing I would say is that you want to be as comfortable as you possibly can, not just physically, but also mentally. So what I would suggest is remind me a few things. First one is, have you tried this before?
I've had DMT before, yeah, about 5 years ago.
No, the laser experiment.
The laser experiment, no.
Okay, okay. So I would say that because you haven't done DMT in a while, just don't worry about the laser for a second. Just have your experience. Just do whatever you got to do to get into state, either close or if you feel like you want to go further, do that. Interact with the molecule. Treat the molecule as if it's a person. And have a conversation with it first. See what's going on today. Okay? What does it feel like? What is it trying to show you? Is it just playing around? Is it showing you something very, profound? Is it saying something you didn't expect? Have a conversation with it. When you're done with that, if you still feel called and you feel comfortable in your body, then go ahead and explore the laser. If you don't. I know it's you kind of set up to do this and everything, but it's very important that you listen to what the molecule is saying in real time versus the idea you have of what needs to happen.
Yeah, no, I resonate with that strongly, and just with respect to psychedelics in general, I don't do them if I don't feel like I'm in that right frame of mind. So that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Danny. I will absolutely do that before.
But I'm adding another thing, which is like it might just inform you about something, right?
Okay.
And it should feel like a fuck yeah, like about the laser when you're partaking with it. So if everything goes according to plan and you want to look at it and everything, then start exploring. Don't fill your head with too many ideas about what it's supposed to be. Imagine that I told you nothing, which is of course very hard, because people very often, they would look at the thing and then they would be like, yeah, man, I can't see code. I see these like weird Japanese looking things. I was like, dude, just...
Well, what do you think that is?
Exactly. So like don't worry about what you think I said. Just explore as if you heard nothing, and just look at anything that departs from the norm, right?
Yeah, I'll just explain anything I say that is different from
exactly. And
perfect.
It does have gradation of how clearly you see it. In the beginning, it can be a little phased out. It can be a little blurry. What you're looking for usually, so just so you know, what you're looking at is essentially an infinite field that extends in all directions, including into the z-axis. So the content very often becomes blurry because I think your brain is struggling to reconcile the fact that there's infinite layers crossing in front of one another. So your brain kind of learns how to separate the layers because it's just like everything happening at once. Just allow yourself to hone in on one distance, so to speak. So instead of looking like all over, just like find a spot, not just in terms of x and y axis, but also z axis. Even though it looks random, just kind of find the right distance and stay there. Right? Converge in a certain distance, stay there. And then see if anything comes through. Usually when it becomes clearer and clearer and it really kind of solidifies into these tiny, in the beginning they're going to look microscopic, like these tiny characters. You might see shapes or even content. You might see psychedelic realms unfolding in front of you in the laser basically. But then what you want to be looking for if you want to see the code is that you want to look for the pixels. Like, what is it made out of? Like, it's really, really small. One discerning factor of when you're actually seeing the code in full is the holy shit moment. Because even if you've experienced a lot of things in your life and with psychedelics and whatever, when you see that, there's like a what is going on moment because it looks so clearly there. There's no questions about it. If you're not sure, you haven't fully seen it. Like, it has this like, whoa. Like
It's obvious when you see
as
it.
clear as you can see the screen right now, right?
Perfect.
So that's basically what you're looking for. We don't know why that is. Sometimes takes people a little bit of time to see it. Some people just see it right away. We don't know what causes it. Maybe you'll be instrumental in figuring it out. Maybe it has something to do with the far side, near side, and the differences. Even if you don't see it right away, that's actually exactly when I want you to kind of try all three ways. Like, so we have the super close, further, further without the glasses, closer without the glasses, and then find the right distance without the glasses, and then see if by moving from the wrong distance without the glasses to the right distance without the glasses while moving, see if anything changes in the content or the way it appears.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you. I'll do all that. Yeah, that's great information. Have you ever found that it's sort of like a read-only stream, or have you found that people, like, if they, I don't know, if they ask a question or if they do or say something, that things can change in terms of what you're seeing?
So far, no ability to write. Read only
No
at the
worries.
moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, maybe for a good
Well,
reason.
that's true. Yeah, probably for good reason. And just, I think, Danny, just to go back to some of the specifics, like, what is the ideal dose in your experience for the laser experiment?
The dose for the laser is not that high. However, in the beginning, it requires a little bit more to see it easier. The second you find it, you don't need much. You just need a tiny bit and you'll see it right away. But if you're teetering constantly on being sucked to hyperspace, it's like this weird, uncomfortable feeling. This is why I personally recommend just have an experience. Because after you have, I mean, you don't have to, but like then the chances of being sucked into hyperspace are very low because now you just like, you burned the fuel, so to speak. So now you won't. Now you can just kind of sit and sip on it. You know, with the vaporizer you have, it's like bigger doses and not a vape, but still, like then I would load up a lot less, and that's the one downside with this is that you have to constantly reload.
That's okay.
It's just
I'm prepped.
Yeah.
I've got a few doses dosed out already of like 20 milligrams, 30, and then 40. But should I be looking at maybe taking like a bigger dose to begin with?
You have to make a clear decision.
Yeah.
Are you interested in having also full experience? If so, I definitely recommend to do that. If you really don't feel like it, like if it's like your intuition tells you, I don't feel comfortable, okay, do smaller doses. But if you can and you're willing to commit, I would say have your experience first. And then don't worry about anything else. And then go back and do the smaller doses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I've actually been kind of mentally, spiritually, so to speak, prepping for some DMT for the last little while. I was planning to take a big dose anyway after, but if you're saying it's better before, then
it's better before because it will also inform you if this is actually the right time to do this.
True.
Yeah.
No, okay, perfect.
Would you like to do a couple of rounds of breath work together?
I would love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
I'm just going to grab my...
So what happened next is Danny walked us through a version of the Wim Hof breathing technique. If you're not familiar, it's controlled breathing in rounds, deep, steady breaths followed by a long breath hold. And the first round, you definitely feel it immediately, and it's a little bit anxiety inducing. I mean, you're essentially hyperventilating. Your body doesn't exactly love that at first, but by the second and third round, it does increasingly get easier. By the end of it, you're just calm and grounded and present. I mean, just look at our faces here. It was the perfect state to be in before Josh did DMT. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I have a favor to ask. If you're enjoying our content so far, and you want to help support our channel, really the best thing you can do right now is hit the follow button down below. Making these videos is very time consuming. It requires an enormous amount of work. And if you like this channel to grow and to keep producing reliable content, the best thing you can do is hit the follow button. And the next best thing you can do is share it with a friend. The more followers we get, the more views we get, the the more YouTube will start working with us, and that'll allow us to push out more content. So thank you for at least considering it. It means the world to us. And now back to the video.
I'm gonna just take a dose.
Okay.
Kind of cruise into it. I haven't started filming on this camera yet. I'll turn that one on when I'm doing the laser experiment.
Sounds
you ready?
Good. I'm ready. But ready whenever you are, man.
All right, bro. You can ask as many questions. You can ask anything you want. It's totally fine.
All right. So before we get to the laser, Josh took a full dose just like Danny recommended. And it almost hit him immediately. I think at one point he said that the chair he was sitting in started to feel like it was getting tight around his sides, almost as if it was giving him a hug. And the monitor that he was looking at me on, he said that it started to look goopy. And when he closed his eyes, he was seeing a bunch of fractals. And then he started to say that his consciousness started to separate from himself in a positive way. Here's a clip of Josh talking about it.
Feels like opening a window in a slightly stale room, you know? Like I've made space for like the fresh air to come in. Feels really empty and clean. And I feel really at peace right now, bro. My legs are kind of tingling with electricity. It feels like my legs and my feet are kind of, they're not numb. I'm aware of them, but they're like there's just a stream, like a current running through them almost. It's electric. It feels really, really incredible.
But all this happened very quickly, and at no point did Josh seem completely incoherent. I've spoken to a lot more belligerent friends of mine on alcohol, which was way worse than what Josh was acting right now on DMT. I was talking to him the whole time. He was responding intelligently. Sure, he was seeing visuals, but it was still Josh. So after about maybe 10 minutes or so, Josh started to sober up. The effects of DMT are not very long lasting, and he was preparing to start looking at the laser. So this next section, I didn't really edit too much. I wanted you, the viewer, to experience what it would be like to sit in a room next to someone that is doing this experiment. So there's very little cuts. The parts where there's not a lot of talking, a lot of silence, I have sped up. So that way you can still see Josh or myself experiencing things. I didn't want to hide behind the edit in any way. So this is the most raw, real experience that I can deliver to you. And it was paradigm shifting for, I think, Josh and myself, if I'm being honest. And I hope it affects you the same way it did us.
I've got another bag. I'm gonna take another couple of puffs. Maybe I'll ask the question again, or I'm gonna try. What I want to try and do is reconnect with that little thing I experienced just then, where it felt like my consciousness was kind of split in two almost, or like whatever the other energy was, conscious energy, was just in the same space as mine, and it felt like one almost. So I want to feel that. I want to try and understand what that is, but I'll do that, and then I'll probably take a look at this laser.
Sounds good to me.
And try and change the glasses around and stuff.
Cool.
Okay, so immediately I'm feeling like my body is feeling electric again. Wow. You're gonna have to try this one day, mate.
Maybe, yeah. I really have to prepare for it, I think.
I'll fly over and spend the night with you if you if you want to do it. Okay, I'm definitely feeling it. So I'm going to look at the laser. I'm going to do it from about maybe a foot away.
Okay.
And you said it's tiny, right?
He said it's really almost microscopic. I think he said to look at the pixels is what his exact words were.
Oh, it's better without the glasses. Oh, mate, it's so deep.
You see it?
Right here, and as I move back, everything is like moving up and down. You can see. So, oh, hang on. Can you see? Like, there's three kind of lines because it's been diffused. Can you see that clearly on your end, or does it just look like one thick line?
It looks like one thick line, but I can see some like variations in it. Like it looks like almost like a paintbrush when it doesn't have a lot of paint on it. That's kind of what it looks like from my angle.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, man. So up close, and I'll get video of this on my camera so that I can that's clear. I might even do that right now. Sorry, the order of this is going to be a bit weird, bro, but
that's all good.
So, all right, there's a close-up of the laser. I'll try and get my hand out of the way. So there's three distinct lines being diffused, and in between them, you can kind of see the light radiation coming off each of those diffused lines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I see it. That's, this is roughly 10 inches away. And I look at it close like this. So here's a really good close-up view of how the laser is diffused across the wall. Okay. I'm going to explain to you, Justin, what I just saw. I didn't, I didn't see the code.
You didn't?
Just then. I didn't see it, but I saw, when I took off my glasses from maybe this far away, whatever this, I don't know what this is, like a foot or something, but I could see it as the video showed it close up. But when I took off my glasses and I went in, the space in between the three lines, so the empty space that is on either side of the strong central laser in that three-line diffused pattern that the laser's casting, in that empty space, it all kind of immediately filled in with what I'll describe as like individual pixels, tiny pixels. They all kind of flooded in to the space, like kind of flooded in, and started, as I moved, it became clear that they were moving. It was parallaxing. It was there was depth, and what I was seeing at the back was moving at a different pace to the stuff that was at the front, and it's like layers of pixels. That's what I saw. They don't look like characters from that quick glance I just did, and that kind of did shock me a little bit. I'm like, I don't know what I was expecting to see, but I actually wasn't expecting it to look anything like that. That was I think the best thing that Danny said was that it's pixels. So I'm going to take a little more and try and see it again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Man, it flooded in. It was like trillions of little red pixels that just flooded in, and then suddenly, my focus went beyond, and I saw just layers of them, and they were all moving at different rates as I went up and down for that. That was really clear.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm gonna try to do it. So at this distance with my glasses, no, I can't see it. When I take my glasses off, I can't see it. But there, at this distance, okay, Justin, I can see it.
So you're like, are you right up against the wall?
My head is touching the wall.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like there's a ceiling in there. That's insane.
There's a ceiling.
Mate, that's insane. I don't think it's a ceiling. I'm looking up and it just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gets brighter as it keeps going. And it almost looked like a roof, but it didn't look like it looked like it was going long ways. Like there was, depth on that axis.
Holy shit.
I think I see what people are seeing, man. That's crazy. I don't know what the audio is like because Riverside will be recording off my laptop and I'm far away from that now, but I'm also recording through this lab, so
it sounds good.
I'll send that to you. Okay, good. I gotta do this again. Sorry. Do you have any questions while I'm looking at it, man?
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it. So when I picture a pixel, I picture just like on a computer screen, like the little RGB dot that makes up the colors, right? But when I look at a computer screen, there's no depth. So how is it that there's trillions of pixels that you're seeing, but there's also depth to it? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
So imagine you ever played Tomb Raider?
Mm-hmm.
Like the original ones?
Yeah. With the cone boobs?
Exactly. Forgive me if I'm weird, man. I am still high.
No, you're good.
Do you remember? I loved the first couple of Tomb Raider games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, but there's one game where you literally in like a tunnel, and you come out of a tunnel, and then you're in this enormous cavern that's got like a pyramid in it and a sphinx, and it's like Egypt but underground, and it's enormous. And from this perspective, in this little cave, 1,000, 2,000 feet up in the air, and you're looking out at this cabin that's 2,000 feet below you, 2,000 feet above you, 10,000 feet either side of you. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm peeping through a little entrance into this enormous space that lies behind it. That's what it feels like when I'm looking at it.
And is the space empty?
No. The space, if I pull my focus forward, if I try and focus on something close, or just, it's hard to explain because when you look into it, you immediately see all this stuff in there. It's full of stuff, and you can see them at different distances. So when I try and focus on a particular thing inside there that is close, that comes into focus, and then everything on that plane is in focus. And so suddenly I notice all the other stuff. And what it's looking like to me is that stuff is essentially billions of tiny little pixels that are kind of moving, like cascading down gently, and like kind of, I can see why they call it the Matrix code. I can see that. It's not that though, but the description is here kind of similar, I guess. But it's not like I'm seeing specific characters yet. I'm just seeing these pixels. But with each hit I take, I'm literally seeing more. It's like,
is it kind of like, sorry to interrupt, is it kind of like the static of a TV when the TV static is like,
it was like that
a little bit?
That's what it was kind of like. It was like that Snowstorm. It was kind of like that when I first saw it. it was kind of like that's what the very back wall of the space was made of. And but what freaked me out was suddenly I saw distance. And when I kind of put my head up and looked down, I saw distance downwards. And then I looked up, and it felt suddenly like I was in this giant space, or I was peeking into it. And so, but then when I went back and kept looking just now, I'm starting to see that the pixels have definition, and there's like I'll describe it like this. In front of that back pixely wall that was sort of gently cascading down all the pixels, and they all had their own kind of shape, was this translucent layer that looked like a soap bubble, but without the colorful kind of shimmery effect that you get from the light refraction, but still like how a soap bubble would slightly distort what you're looking at. And that layer, I had just started to notice had these shapes in it, these distinct shapes like this that were coming down. And then I just started to notice that then, and it kind of went away. And so what I'm wondering is if I have another little hit, if that's gonna, like, I'll see more of that, and maybe they'll come into focus more.
Yeah, I have two questions, I think. The first question, I think, is an easy one. What you're seeing, the shapes and like the back wall and this translucent thing, is it all in a hue of red because the laser is red? Or is your mind filling in different colors?
It's all red except but again, I don't feel like I think I can keep going, and it feels like I'm seeing more with each time I have the molecule. So it was all red when I first saw that back wall. Once that back wall got more definition and I started to notice the space more, and I started to focus on stuff in front of me, then it's like the back wall changed somehow. It wasn't I don't know what color it was, but when I first went in, I noticed it did look red. And then, and now it's kind of either not irrelevant in my brain and it didn't process what color it was, or it had no color. But remember I just described that kind of invisible layer that was floating in the middle somewhere, like a big screen, like a soap bubble, that had those shapes that were also invisible. When I was looking at those shapes, that I could see the light from whatever was behind it coming through, and that light actually kind of felt orange. But that's the last thing I saw before I came back to the camera. But
okay,
yeah, what do you think?
It's crazy that you're seeing something. I'm assuming from what Danny said that you probably haven't seen like the code yet, because he said that's like an oh shit moment. You know, even the structure, like the symbols or like the shapes, I think you said that you saw in that like middle structure.
It was like those. It was like you had like a layer in Photoshop, and you the opacity was all the way up, and you were just slowly starting to bring it in, like really slowly, and then I kind of pulled away.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's going on.
The one more thing I want to put in your mind before we take another hit and go back in is something that's ringing true in my brain. Is I wonder if like the double slit experiment has something to do with this, because of what you said about perception. Like when you try to focus on a closer pixel, that the back tends to like change or morph in some way, and then your perception like
it's not being observed directly, so it starts to
exactly.
Whew, yeah, good thought. That's we need to find someone we can ask about that.
Yeah,
maybe we could go back to Melvin Vorpson.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. I've been meaning to reach back out to him again to see how he's doing.
Part of me is like thinking, like, this is the critical side of my mind, you know, that it's kind of thinking, well, you know, is that just what the brain creates? You know, is that the brain filling in the space because it's desperately needing to figure out what I'm looking at because it doesn't have a lot of visual cues to understand what the laser's doing, what's going on? And like, what's it doing? You know, is it kind of in panic mode? And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen like an LCD screen up close, and it's just like the red and green and blue like dots, like really up close, like that. Not saying that's the same thing, but like if I just showed that to someone that, like my daughter or something that's 9, like she's gonna be like, "What the heck is that?" I'm like, "Those are pixels." She's like, "I don't understand what that is." And then when you zoom out all the way, it's like, "Oh, it's a computer screen." Okay. And I wonder if the laser is doing something like that. That like, you know, just thinking critically, like, is it a combination of the DMT and the laser that's just doing something like that pixel trick that is making your brain perceive something? But again, that's me just being like super materialistic, I guess. But your perception, you and I think a lot alike, and I think your reaction and what you're saying makes me lean that it's not that. But
for the record, I'm taking notes. So glasses, absolutely not. I could not see it with the glasses, even up close. It was not happening, which is interesting.
Do your glasses have any type of like coating on them?
Yeah, they have a
UV,
the UV and the anti-glare stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's a blue light, something like that filter.
Okay,
but so it could be that. So yeah, no glasses for me, and up close was good. I can also see it probably from like 6 to 10 inches away. But I'm further away. It doesn't. When I get closer, it gets bigger. So it feels easier to be up close.
Yeah, that's a really the blue light, or like the fact you can't see with glasses is to, again, my troubleshooting brain is like that tells me what you're seeing in the code. No. Can you?
Huh. It's still there, man. It's weird. And it wasn't there when I first set up. Like, I set up the laser earlier and actually looked in this close to see if anything weird was happening in it, and it wasn't. What's crazy is, yeah, I can still see it, but I can't see it in as much. Hang on a second. Okay, so. Oh no, it's different. So with the glasses, I'll double check for you exactly what coding I have on my glasses. I have to log into my account and look at that. But with my glasses on, it's like I can see the space, but there's like I don't know. That's hard to tell. It feels different, but I'm trying to figure out if it's my imagination. It feels different with the glasses. I don't know why, but maybe
No, go ahead.
I was going to say maybe with a little more, and I'll do an on and off thing. It'll be clearer. But now it feels different.
Because I think I'm not what's an eye doctor? Ophthalmologist? Is that an eye doctor?
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys, but I would imagine that the coating on your glasses, it reflects light, right? Like whether it be blue light or UV light, that's what it does. So if it's different, that would mean that some component of this phenomenon would be relating to light in some way. Because if if your eyes are blocking it, then does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, I think it would literally filter some of the light from hitting my eyes.
Right.
And it would reflect some of it off the lens. Some of it would filter out or disperse through the lens. And so less light is literally reaching my eye. Is that sort of where you're going?
If it is less intense, or if you can't see it with the glasses on, that would mean that whatever light is being blocked by your glasses would be key to understanding or figuring out what that is. Because if you can't see it with the glasses on, then that's a good path to go down to try to, like, okay, well, what frequency is the light? Like all that, what band of light is it? All that kind of jazz would be a good like angle to take, I would think.
Sure, that's an excellent idea. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of testing that you can recreate, right? So, all right. So the gauzes are a maybe for now.
Yep.
Distance is still close, and I'm gonna load this bag up, so it's gonna be a bit noisy for a sec. Yeah, honestly, bro, it's so it's such a trippy drug. Like I'm not having enough to blast through. I haven't made it a high enough concentration of DMT to blast through in one of these. But man, the body tingles feel nice. They feel refreshing. It's like cold electricity, like taking an ice bath in electricity. Feels amazing. Yeah. And even right now, like the feeling's going in my legs and my arms, but they feel good. Like I feel like I want to go for a hike. It feels kind of nice. Speaking of which, I've got a monstera leaf behind me that I'm gonna laser onto it as well in a sec.
That's cool.
Yeah, I want to see what that looks like.
I'm so curious. All right, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. All right. Glasses off. I'm just going to go in and describe what I say, all right?
Yep, sounds good.
Oh, okay. Now I can see it from back here. So now I'm much further away, and I can still see it pretty clearly. When I say I can see it pretty clearly, not the code, I can see the Jesus. Oh, bro. Justin, I can see these structures now.
Like building like structures, or that's probably the wrong word, but
have you ever a combination of solid looking and kind of organic looking structures?
Organic looking.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that can't be real. That can't be real, Justin. I mean, I've done DMT before and I've seen things in there. I've had that blast through before. But I'm not high right now. Like I'm not. Like I'm pretty coherent. At first I saw these kind of I had to stop for a second. At first I saw these kind of organic shapes. What looked like if you ever see like a drone footage looking down over, say, an archipelago or something like a chain of islands, it kind of just looked like these islands just in amongst this watery, wavy, descending pattern of pixels. And these islands started to appear, and they were kind of rounded off and looked kind of organic. But as I focused on them, and I thought to myself, okay, I think I'm probably just seeing the laser reflect off the back of my eye somewhere, and it's giving me, I'm literally seeing the liquid in my eyeball, like create these shapes.
Like floaters when you're like outside.
Kind of, but like inside the eye, like I'm seeing something bounce directly off the back of my retina or something. Until everything started to like solidify, and I started to see like very like solid lines, like rectangle shapes, and then they kind of they didn't grow. It's like that opacity thing, like that slider was moved and they became more into what came more into focus, sorry, was the rest of the shape, which is, and now there's a layer of stuff that's like floating like an ocean, and then there's a layer of stuff that's like descending, and it's almost like maybe this is what Danny's talking about. I'd be curious to get his thoughts, but it's like when you focus on a different plane at a different depth, you see the solid structures are behind all that. And they look like big, large, solid structures. Like I'm looking into the void at like two skyscrapers and a V, like kind of a pointy top, that come together in that kind of shape, almost like an obelisk, but it's only got only the outline of one. It's not solid in the middle. And
Okay.
And what I then noticed, and it kind of just made my heart race a little bit, was that those shapes were made up of code. Those shapes had descending pixels, and those pixels were tiny, but they were characters. It looked like characters. It looked like characters. It looked like characters.
Like the Japanese, was it the kata? Or no, what's that?
Yeah, I know.
Language.
Not quite.
Katakana. That's what it is. That's what everyone says that it looks like, but I don't know. I've heard. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Can you share your screen?
Yeah.
Thanks, Ro. Oh man, I'm going to take a little more and try again, but I think I don't think I saw this. I saw the characters, man. I saw that code. That code's in there. It's really deep in there. Like it feels
crazy.
deep.
It's crazy because it feels like, from my perspective, that you're getting closer to it.
Yeah.
Like every time you go back in and you're looking at it, like you're learning more, and like you're eventually going to be able to see it even more clearly. Can you see my screen though? Like, do you see like?
Yeah.
Like that's what people
say.
say.
Okay. So actually, you know how I described the obelisk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see the image you've got open in the middle? You've got the two lines that kind of converge near the top.
This one or this one?
No, the one you were in a moment ago. I could actually just kind of draw it. Should I?
Yeah.
I'll just draw this.
Stop sharing.
I saw it something similar. It was just kind of that shape.
Mm-hmm.
So two lines that slowly came together. Then there was a gap, and then there was a point like this.
Okay. Yep.
And nothing in the middle. I could just see through it.
Okay.
But that shape is what I zoomed in on. I focused on, and it was that shape that was made up of pixels, and the pixels were code. The pixels were characters, and I don't think. Yeah, that's how I would explain it.
The pixels. So, is it really like the size of like a pixel? Like that tiny?
It feels like I'm looking at it from far away. Mm-hmm. So from my perspective, it's tiny, but as you focus on it, it feels like they're kind of bigger.
Okay.
Feels like it feels like you're not necessarily focusing, like changing your depth of focus. You're actually moving yourself to be closer to it. That's what it kind of feels like, which is probably where the DMT is coming in. It's allowing you to maybe
go forward. Yeah. Crazy.
I'm gonna take a little more and
do it up. This is I've never seen anyone on YouTube do what we're doing right now. Just a sober guy and a guy on DMT looking at a laser. That's pretty Pretty crazy shit.
Yeah, I can immediately see the code. Okay, now I can see kind of the islands, man. Like the shapes, the water is flowing.
And it's like
islands there.
And it's like a top-down
It's like a
perspective.
top-down view. Yeah. Well, no, it's not top-down though, because when the islands look top-down, but then you can look past the islands and you can see the kind of pixels coming down. Like my perspective's changed in the next kind of plane of vision and sort of focus. I don't know what the right word is right now, man. I'm pretty distracted. Yeah. I can see it from further away as well, but dude, that's a whole place. That is yeah, I can see the structures.
And the structures are the same, it seems like, too. Like you just...
There's a different one. There's I can see the one I saw before, but now I can see one that just looks more like a triangle. I can see multiple triangles, almost like I'm looking at them in a distance, and they kind of look like Sawtooth. But there's like behind them is different structures, kind of like someone's later like buried half of a long tube in the sand, and there's all these pixels falling around that shape and kind of flowing off to the side of it. But if I yeah, oh my god, there it is. Sorry, there is just like I can see like these characters, and they're much bigger now, and they're that one kind of looks like a star. It doesn't look like a star. It looks like a bunch of lines intersecting to make like the symbol or the logo for a star. Huh. It feels like when I look down, the edges of the space are slanting in a little bit, but at the top it feels very like flat and very uniform. It's every time I say something like that, it's like I look past what I'm looking at and I can see more of it, and it looks different behind it. It's pretty phenomenal, man.
Wow.
That's pretty phenomenal. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but that's like, whew, that doesn't seem real. You know?
Is it the sense that I'm getting is that, and I think even Danny said this actually, that like people tend to focus on the code, but it's actually more of like the place that you're seeing rather than the actual code itself that's actually more impressive.
Yeah. It feels like the code are making up the place. And if you zoom out and look at the place, it's pretty incredible. And it feels it feels very much like feels weird to say it, but it feels very much like it's man-made, you know? Like it feels really it feels not man-made, sorry, it's probably the wrong word, but it doesn't feel like it was organic. It feels
Constructed.
That's the better term. Thank you.
Yeah.
It feels very constructed. I'm going to turn it off for a sec. I am not sure. I'm not sure I want to see it again right now. I think what I just saw is probably enough for now.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels very deep. It feels very huge, multi-layered. One layer looks like a bunch of islands floating in water, like you're looking down from a satellite. You can kind of zoom past that, and then again, there's just this layer of kind of descending pixels. And when you stare at those, or kind of stare through those pixels start to shape structures. And so the most common structure that I saw then was like a series of pyramids that were kind of very similar heights, and there was some at different depths too. It looked like they went on for like if we're talking a video game, like I don't know, what's the biggest video game, like open world video game that's not infinite, where
Grand
you
Theft
can
Auto.
stand. Yeah. So you're just standing at the edge of the map on a really high point looking out. It's and so it was like there was a front row of pyramids that looked like teeth, and then behind them were more, and then between them well, I don't know what was between them, but they felt deep. But while I was looking at them, behind them was this constant wall of red pixels, just billions coming down individually, and it was pretty beautiful. But then these structures would appear as well, but not necessarily where these were. They would appear somewhere else, and they were taking that kind of shape again, like two lines converging with like a tip there. But then I noticed there was so many behind that. I saw so many of these kind of shapes that did this, that did that.
Okay.
It gave me the impression that I was looking at something with wings. And these were kind of like behind these kind of weird obelisky things, where these shapes that curved out and then hooked back, like on a really sharp angle, and then
Like a bat
stopped.
wing or something.
A little bit. It felt a little bit like the shape was very clear. And then when you zoomed in on that, yeah, I actually can't draw the characters I was seeing in the pixels. When you zoomed in on those shapes, they were made up of these characters. And then when I looked at those characters for a while, they got bigger. It didn't feel, I don't know if the characters got bigger. It felt like, again, I was moving closer to them, or they were moving closer to me. That was the sense I got.
One thing that I'm struggling with a little bit is the concept of these layers, because when you're not on DMT and you're in this reality, I look at anything. If I'm on a mountain, I'm overlooking a cityscape or whatever. Like I just, in a way, you kind of have this flat image that is one layer, but there's depth to it. It sounds like what you're saying is like that Photoshop analogy where there's different layers of different things, and you can. Is it the same way? Like when you're looking at a character and it gets closer to you, is it the same thing where like when you focus on one of the layers that it kind of like it brings you almost like you're flying in a way where you kind of like
it brings you through the layer.
It brings you through the layer. Okay.
That's right.
That helps.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I could probably film this actually. If we were I could film what I mean. If you got like 4 sheets of transparent paper or glass, and you line them up a foot behind each other, and you drew something on the first pane, the second pane, the third, and you just focus from one to the next.
Yeah.
You don't change your focal length, you zoom, you just change the focus so that, and suddenly everything in that front layer kind of just vanishes.
It vanishes.
And you're only looking at the second layer.
That helps. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's how I would explain it.
Got it.
Yeah, except when I saw these shapes coming, these kind of code, it's like I was able to zoom in on that specific layer, that detail, and that grew in my field of vision. It kind of grew, and I saw it felt infinite, to be honest. It felt almost like if I had looked in close, it almost felt like I had the capacity to zoom in on an individual character and then just see more characters made up inside that one. That's kind of what it felt like.
Whoa.
I didn't see that, but I stopped just then because I got the distinct impression like I could fall into it. Like it felt like I was like, oh, I might be getting a bit too close to, when you look over a balcony and you're like, you cross a point where suddenly it feels like it's easier to fall forward than go back.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it felt like I was on the edge of that, and I didn't want to go there. And like that felt like enough for my experience today. It's not like I felt the molecule communicate with me or anything, but my body definitely was telling me, okay, that's enough today. So I'm going to leave it at that. But
man, so you saw the code. You saw symbols.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw symbols. 100%. They were small and they were big, and I saw these. I think what's tripping me out, Justin, is this idea of the structures, because it feels like they're living in a gigantic cavern, and I just wonder if, because the only way I can relate the scope of that kind of cavern to you was using the analogy from a Tomb Raider game. And when she goes into the cavern, there's literally pyramids and obelisks and sphinxes. Is that why I saw those shapes? Because that was the only way my mind could rationalize what I was seeing. Did it create those shapes to create structure? Because I had played that game? I don't know.
So believe it or not, this episode's not over yet. We're going to talk to Danny and do a debrief in the next section here. But before we do that, I just wanted to say a special thanks to Josh for having the courage and the wherewithal to not only look at the laser, but to explain his experience with such vigor and articulation that made me understand this phenomenon way better than I did before. So if you're feeling that way, do me a favor and just drop a sweet comment down below for Josh as a thank you. If you could tell there towards the end, Josh did experience a form of ontological shock there. To see him have a little bit of anxiety and, as I said, ontological shock was uncomfortable for me. He's my buddy. I didn't want him to feel those things, but he did it for all of us. So again, special shout out to him. I digress. Here's our conversation with Danny about a week after the experiment.
Because you seem to be pretty shook when I spoke to you. And yes, there is this ontological shock, but was it... Maybe you can't know. I don't know if it's a machinery you have access to in your cognition, but do you feel that the shock was because of what it represents and like what does that mean, or do you feel the shock was more because of the sense that it gave you in real time? Or I don't know if you can even discern the difference between those two.
No, that's a good question, and I've thought about that. I went and spent some time, a couple nights in the woods afterwards, because I felt like I needed to reconnect with nature, and I did feel the shock was very much a real time thing. It was that what was surprising to me, because I haven't had this experience before, was that by the time I was sort of seeing this code, I didn't feel high anymore. I was taking these small hits, and I was fairly sober talking to Justin. I could feel just the tiniest bit of tingling in my legs and stuff, but it felt like there had opened up next to me another world, and I was just able to look into it suddenly. And that was really shocking because it felt so much more real than an experience I've had on psilocybin or something like that, where it's quite clearly a hallucination. It's quite clearly a trip. This did not feel obviously like a hallucination, and that was what I was quite uncomfortable with. I got a bit anxious about that actually while we were recording. I think I said to Justin, I'm like, I feel a little bit anxious, and I feel like, I don't think, as much as I mentally prepared for it, I didn't think it would be quite like it was. It didn't look like I expected, and it didn't give me the feeling I thought I might get from having that experience. Instead, it did make me feel a little insecure in myself and a little suddenly like, someone's kicked the chair out from under you and said, huh, you thought you were sitting down safe, but there's a lot more here. And there was this feeling, Danny, that I've tried to articulate and put into words more over the last couple of days, but I'm really struggling to. It was a feeling of connection to something. And I was saying to Justin on the call that I felt like maybe it was just I was connecting to myself, but it felt like it was delayed. And so it felt like I was getting this kind of third party interference in my thoughts, almost like, not like that there wasn't a voice in my head or anything like that. It was the feeling of a presence that was almost allowing me to have that experience, which was a very unusual sensation.
A true other.
In the moment, it felt like that. In the moment, it felt really unfamiliar and really like not completely, like it felt sort of familiar, but not me. And that part I was reflecting on quite a bit over the last week, and that part is still fairly confusing to me. I don't know what that was, what that feeling was. It felt like me. It felt like not me. It felt like I had made a connection with something, and it was letting me use its eyes to see this thing. That's what it kind of felt like.
My question, thank you for sharing all of this. My question to you is, have you ever, because you only did DMT one at a time, right?
So I did it.
Right.
I've had DMT 3 times, but they were all within the space of 2. It was all within the space of 2 days.
No. But I mean before this, like, or was that the time you're referring to?
That's the time I'm referring to. I did 3 hits over 2 days, but only one hit was a big full hit. I did sort of.
So you never met an other.
I did.
So you never met another before. Okay.
In that first trip, I met something. And it was I saw something in my first trip. I saw 2 things actually that were kind of not talking to me, but gave me the distinct impression like I could get closer to them. And I did, and they kind of ignored me. And then they sort of gave me the distinct impression that they were okay for me to be there. And that was the first time I had DMT, but that didn't feel the same as this.
In what way?
Well, I think the feeling was probably influenced by the visuals, because like that first experience, I was visually, I felt like I was somewhere else. You close your eyes and it feels like you're in another world, or you are in another space, and those things are there. This wasn't that. I didn't visually go somewhere else. I didn't blast off before I saw the code. I got close. I got to a point where I felt like my chair was sucking me in like a slingshot. And I said to Justin at that point, I said, I think I'm about to blast off or something. I'm going to just give me a second. But I think because there were no visuals associated with this, except for what I was seeing in the laser, it felt more foreign. It didn't feel the same as it did when I had something that I could kind of connect that feeling to in the trip.
So it's the realism of it and the fact that it was happening in your space versus you going somewhere else. So it's in your
That's
home,
exactly
literally.
It.
And
that's exactly it. Yeah. It felt like it came to me.
And did that, and that feeling that you described as the chair being kicked from under you, I've experienced that when they showed me. Like I actually thought that I was kind of just like in this state where I can just kind of accept whatever it is. So it's like if it is what it is, right? So it's like okay. But when they showed me not the laser, when they actually showed me that they are like they answered the question directly. They're like, yes, we are simulating this space, and they showed me that without a shadow of a doubt. They're just like, yep, this is all computationally simulated. I had that feeling, but I describe it as like a gut punch. It's almost like the air was knocked from like inside of your body. It was like, oh, it's like this gutting feeling of like, oh, like am I a puppet? Like what? This doesn't matter. Like things like this. Basically, that was my sense. It's like you're not as fundamental as you thought you were. Basically, that was my sense with it. And then I later realized that that feeling is the beginning of growing pains. It's not really, because obviously it's not about how if you really think about it, the question of fundamentality doesn't, it's almost like we assumed it, but we're comfortable with the idea that we're not. So like you're comfortable with being rendered by the laws of physics.
Sure, exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
So why is it different to be rendered by computational rules? Well, the implication there is that somebody made you, but wait a second, but we are comfortable with God making us. And then I realize, okay, it has nothing to do, and then people can say, well, there's a distinction between the alien civilization and God, and like, I'm not so sure that's what it is. I think that there's a distance to be traveled between the theoretical and the actual. And when you finally travel it, it really hits you viscerally. Like when you don't think. Like I think that a lot of people, I'm sure that some, like full on, like complete conviction. I'm sure of it. But I bet you that most people who say I believe, well, it's in the word, right? They believe, but they don't know. I think there's a difference when you know. When you know, like it's like, oh, it's like for real. That does something else. That like, oh, I'm now, because there's no more distance to travel. This is it, right here.
Yeah.
Now what do you do with it? That's a big point that Terence McKenna used to make, which is that he used to say, people put so much emphasis on the search. So they're like they push, okay, and and what, but they never stop to consider what they would do if they find it. So they live in relationship to the search, but not the finding, which is exactly the point that I was also making to the guys in Night Shift, which is like you guys that talk so much about the disclosure. Did you ever stop and consider what it would be like the day after? Like the morning you wake up after you know? But what does that look like? What does that feel like? That's different. Yeah, and there needs to be preparation for that. And I think that feeling is probably encapsulates that kind of an emotion of just this ultimate, like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I think you sort of hit the nail on the head when you said it's you're confronting the actual, like you said, it's not the question, it's not the chase. It is almost like you're like a dog chasing something, and then you get it and you don't know what to do with it. It's like, oh, okay.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah. That is kind of what it feels like. It's that ability.
Yeah, you want to chase the car.
What I was saying, it's like my brain wants to rationalize and make sense of it. Yeah, exactly. You chase the car, and then what do you do? Like, it's like, all right. And it's like my brain is trying to rationalize the experience, and because my brain can't rationalize the experience through any framework that I've been raised to sort of follow, it's challenging. But and I'm a very open-minded guy, and we spoke before I did it. I had some expectations of the experience, but again, what I was confronted with it wasn't the experience I was expecting to have. It was good. It was great. I loved it, but it was shocking. It was shocking. It was. Yeah, it was a lot. It was.
I think from my seat, watching Josh kind of experience this as like a third party, I think the thing that was the most fascinating to me was when Josh first looked at the laser, one of the first things he noticed was the space of the structures, and he described the island, and behind that like an obelisk type shaped, and then some pyramids, and it was,
Some
there was layers
triangles
to
and
it.
very just angular.
Triangles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it took him quite a bit of time to digest that. Like I felt like as someone onlooking, it was much more about this. Again, please correct me, either of you, if I'm saying this incorrectly, but it was like the laser was opening a passageway to this other realm or other space that had these physical structures in it. And again, Josh, tell me if I'm wrong, but it felt like that was almost more of a shock to you. Like, oh my gosh, there's another space. And then when you saw the pixels and you kind of zoomed in and focused on that, that was definitely pretty intense, but it was more about the space and the structure that this laser created than the actual code itself. And I know, Danny, I think I texted you after, and you said something so on point that's why you said it's not about decoding what this code actually means. It's much bigger than that. So why do you think it is that people say, oh, if you smoke DMT, you look at the laser, you see the code? And why is it not you smoke DMT, you look at the laser, and you see a parallel universe? Why do you think that people focus on the code versus the actual space?
I think the code solidifies it into that realism. But the truth is that the general gestalt of the realism of the whole thing is the thing that grabs you. But the word gestalt is not known by many. There you go. And and the word, just when you say parallel universe, it feels too ephemeral. Like those words don't carry the same amount of weight, because it's like, well, what do you mean? You smoke DMT, so yeah, you see a parallel universe. What are you talking about? It doesn't carry that solidification of realism that when you say you see code, it kind of points to something much more specific. But obviously, it's not the code. It's the whatever that hyperstructure that we're looking at is what is delivered. It literally feels like you're looking through a microscope into a whole new world that you didn't know existed, but it's as real as yours. You're just like looking at through a window, basically.
I was saying to Justin that it looked for a minute like I was looking through 1,000 panes of glass, and every pane of glass had something different on it, and all I had to do was focus at a different distance to see that thing. And I saw this organic kind of island-looking thing that looked, I remember looking at it thinking, I think I'm just seeing my own blood vessels in my eye, and that's probably why it's all kind of wavy. And then it just went like solid. And I kind of zoomed out, and it was those structures and the sheer size of what I was seeing. It was massive. It was like I felt tiny. It felt, yeah. Sorry, I still don't have actually all the words for this, but it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it was something.
You didn't figure out how to encapsulate multi-dimensional space in your words? Come on, man.
Yeah, what's wrong with Josh?
What's wrong with me, man? Damn. Let you guys
what I really think is going on, and this is going to sound, we're going into Esoterica right now, but like I mean it physically. I mean it like conclusively. I think that what we're looking at is a rotating four-dimensional object. And what we're seeing is the three-dimensional wall of the four-dimensional object as it spins into our view and out of our view. And that's why it looks so confusing, because it's like, because you can't see the 4D component of it, but you can only see the 3D slice of it, which you already can't see all at once because you're 3D. So it's almost like it's just doing this like in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So it's like that's all the changes that you're basically observing.
It's interesting you say that. We just had a conversation about that yesterday with someone, this idea of flatlands, what a 3D object looks like to a 2D person, you know. It was that same conversation. Yeah, I relate to that.
And in fact, there's one gesture that I learned how to do if you'll ever bring yourself to do this again. There's something you can do if you see it really clearly. If you focus on one region of the code executing, you can't focus on one because it's like there's millions of them in every point. But if you look at one region where you can kind of identify a repeating pattern, look at that region, anchor your attention there, and then you have to do this weird gesture in your head. It's like on the software level in your brain, so I can't really describe it, but it's almost like you rotate everything around that point. You just like you can kind of zoom in, you just stay, and then you rotate the whole thing around it, and then what happens is all of a sudden you can see all of 3D at once. So then the only way this can happen is if you're looking from some fourth direction. So I think you can anchor yourself. Your software is capable of doing this. Your hardware can't because it's designed to manipulate, to move through three-dimensional space. But on the hardware, on the software level, we have the ability to do this. You can actually rotate into the 4D. And then from there, you can see the whole thing at once. And it's almost like you have to just kind of focus on it and then try and do different things. And if something budges, that's the direction. You go like, oh, there it is. And then just like keep going that direction. Just spin. And then you'll find yourself in this weird orientation that you're not familiar with. So it's almost like it's teaching us how to look at information in a new way. Which makes sense, by the way, because if we're going to a place where we're going to have to basically absorb, process, and respond with enormous amounts of information at once, the only way to do that is to do that. Like absorb like an enormous amount of information at once, like take enormous snapshots of information that we currently can't do. Right now, if you're trying to absorb information, it's like you have to, with ChatGPT, you have to like put a prompt, then you have to read. So you're like uploading. Okay, next prompt. It's too slow. So the only way to like really move, like, and if you like, we think of, all of these futuristic technologies as if it's the thing that gives you the magic powers. Well, even if you have ChatGPT in your brain through Neuralink or something, that will not nullify your need to go through the information, understand the meaning, create the next. You would still have to do that. Those are things you still have to do. And it has the same. Maybe it will be a little faster because you don't have to type and you don't okay. That's not much faster. The only way to move way faster is to absorb a lot of meaning at once, snapshots of meaning, instead of like reading a whole article, right? And then absorb all of it and also be able to respond. So I think that when you're looking from that fourth deep perspective, you can actually do that. You can actually just kind of interact with information on it. It shrinks the temporal dimension. You can actually do things a lot faster. And then an image will emerge that only makes sense if you can have that pace. If I paint because of memory, because of rendering, because of everything, if I paint right now a drawing, but the way I'm doing the drawing is point by point, right? And let's say after a little while, some points stay, but eventually they kind of fade away. So now you have to remember the point was there, because let's say I'm drawing a smiley, point by point. So I'm going point, 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 point. And then some of them starts disappearing here, so you have to go faster. So the smiley will be created eventually, right? But if you don't, they always disappear, so you kind of and you will never see the smiley. But if you can go fast, you can see the smiley basically.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy,
Okay, wow.
mind-bending stuff. I think I have one more question, unless Josh has another one. But
sure,
it's not really a question, I guess. Well, maybe there's a question in here. Josh, yesterday I was talking to him, and I think he is going to try the laser again, probably off camera, or maybe he'll record it. But I don't think I'm going to be there that time. He's just going to kind of experience it himself.
That's when he's going to solve the secrets of the universe.
Exactly.
Like, thanks,
100%.
Justin.
Yeah, when no one's watching.
When no one's watching, yeah. He's going to set up a phone, just like record just in case. But one of the things that we were talking about doing, and I was just curious, I feel like I've heard you say this before, but I could be making it up. We were going to try looking at the code on different surfaces, like maybe bring in like a big leaf from outside and look at it projected on that instead of a wall. Or has anyone ever tried that before, or do you have any suggestions about?
It's always the same.
It's always the
You
same.
can do it on your skin even. It's always the same.
It's always the same.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Well, hey, if you're going to notice changes, I would love to know. But so far, we tried all kinds of things, and it's just always the same. It's not even in the surface. It's in some kind of the surface just allows enough photons to come back to your eye to see it. It's in some kind of a subspace. It might be just the language your brain is using to render. So it's almost like you see the pre-render.
Yeah.
Somehow you go one step before it renders into what you see as reality.
It makes sense about the photons that you said too, how they like have to focus on any object, and that's what allows this to happen. Because of, I think I also texted you too about how when it seemed like when Josh was wearing his glasses that he could still see it, but it was, I think you said it was like a little bit harder to see, or it looked a little bit different. But when he took his glasses off, it was like clear as day. So
there's something very interesting there. And now that you kind of know how to see it,
I would love for you to play with that, and if you can nail down different how, that would be super useful.
Okay.
And also,
Yeah.
see if you can also see the larger thing. So, like, after you see the specifics, step back, and not just in the code, but look at the wall itself, because you're looking at the guts of something. You're looking at the specifics of something that you. It's almost like you're looking into what the hallucinations are made out of. So if you step back, you'll start seeing things on the wall, kind of doing a thing, and what you'll notice is that what the code really is the inside of whatever it is that you usually perceive on the outside on the wall. Like it's almost like it's the details of the thing. That's a really interesting observation to make.
Okay.
If you can notice it.
Okay. Yeah. I will I'll try and pin that down, that difference, like as well with the glosses. But I think that what you said there about it, you're sort of viewing the pre-rendering, that feels, and it's just a feeling, but it does feel accurate. It feels very like true to the idea that we really aren't, it's a reminder that we're not witnessing objective reality, right? It's just reality has been useful for us to observe it and survive in it, I guess. But this does feel like something's kind of peeling away, right? Like a bit of the wall is opening up and you're getting a glance at what sits behind it, what the code behind it is, or whatever's rendering in the background.
Your brain will fold it into normality eventually. Like it's just like, okay, that now you've dealt with it, and the reality is that it's not. No, we're not puppets, and it's not fake. It's made this way, but you're experiencing it, so it's real. Again, as I always say, if you stub your toe in the middle of the night, it really hurts. It's not going to help you. I'm going to tell you, oh, don't worry, it's a simulation. It's like, no, this hurts. So that's real. That's reality. Reality is what you're experiencing. As long as there's a conscious observer, that's reality at that point, at that time.